Yeah, we've got a transmission coming in.
10-4.
Yeah, Brian, it's looking more and more like the Arizona Coyotes of the National Hockey League will be relocating to Utah next season.
Players and management has been told they are on their way. They will play next season in Salt Lake City.
The state is a sports state, which leads me to this.
Yes, it is. Welcome in live to the Delta Center. It is time to meet Utah's NHL franchise.
I'll answer it for him for the umpteenth time.
What?
That's right. Welcome back to the Puck Drop Podcast. I am Cole, the NHL Music Man Chapman, and I am here with Lieutenant Dangle D, Destin Edgington, and we are brought to you by Hockey Stops. Don't forget that, and I'm sure you haven't because Hockey Stops is awesome. Had a great time with them at the Utah Hockey Club game the other night. It was incredible. I almost lost my voice. And I was honestly nervous for tonight because I thought I was going to be whispering. So,
well, I wish you would have to an extent so you could hear me talk. But.
Right. We are here with a very special guest, and you can see it on my hat. The Ogden Mustangs owner, Sean Wilmert. Is it Wilmert? Yeah.
Wilmert.
Sean Wilmert, the owner of the Ogden Mustangs. And we're going to say, let's get bucked up in here and have a drink to that. Cheers, fellas.
Salud.
Salud. So, Sean, owner of the Mustangs, where do we begin?
What's your background? What's your story? We got to know.
My story.
I want to know.
Let's go.
How did you, your upbringing in youth of yourself, and then what navigated you to be where you're at now?
Yeah. Let's go pre-Mustangs. How'd you get involved in hockey? Just all in all, right?
Well, it started in the state of hockey, Minnesota.
There you go.
You live in Minnesota.
Minnesota.
Yeah. He's got that accent, you know.
What
about it? Just
exactly.
I love it.
That's the first thing you learn how to do in Minnesota, skate. It's between that and walking, it comes close. Which one you do first?
Yeah, that's awesome. So just played a lot of youth hockey down there.
How old were you?
When I started, probably 3 years old.
Same with Destin.
Yeah.
Parents got you into it, and
actually, no. My dad was a basketball player. He played. Was a 6th, 7th man off the bench with UCLA, and so he didn't know what the hell he was doing.
Yeah.
Well, how the hell did you get into hockey?
Again, it gets back to Minnesota. You don't play basketball in Minnesota.
You're out there. Yeah, you don't walk. You skate everywhere, right?
When you see everyone else skating, you grow up back then. Growing up in the 70s. I graduated high school in the 80s.
Okay.
Every little park. Basically, you couldn't go a mile or two without a park. Every park, the fire department would flood.
That's awesome.
And they usually had to have enough boards. They'd put one rink, and that was the big thing. Growing up, you wanted to get picked to play on the rink.
Oh, nice.
So once you hit that mark and you made that team, you made the jump from the non-boarded figure skating type deal to the playing with the high school kids, the older kids on the rink, you made it.
That's when you feel like you're just a badass.
Yeah, exactly.
You're like, yeah.
Well, absolutely. I wish it got cold enough here because I've tried to build a rink and it doesn't work. So, lucky.
Yeah, right. I remember, so I was there for an NFL game one year, and I remember walking down Minnesota, the downtown. There were signs on the sidewalk that said, "Watch for falling icicles."
Yeah, pull up the number on that of how many people have tragically lost their life.
That was when football was football. I remember going to the Met Stadium. You're outside. It's 50, 60 below zero.
Yeah.
Now they tore that down and built a super mall. Mall of America.
Yeah.
So
fun place though.
So what brought you to Utah?
Gosh, I spent years playing. I left home, went up to Canada, played, went and did the junior route, just like these kids playing with the Mustangs. And then worked my way back to Minnesota, played college at Minnesota State.
Awesome.
I played, signed a minor league contract, bounced around there for about 7 years or so. And then,
what position did you play?
Defense.
Nice.
Yeah.
How tall are you?
I mean, with your
6'3"?
size, and,
I'm 6'2".
6'2",
You know, and I remember going to my first NHL training camp, 6'2", 225, and
How many teeth did you lose?
just one. Just one. I was the lucky one. Back
yeah,
then, you didn't wear anything. No
So did
mask.
no mouth guard.
No mouth guard. No
Exactly.
face shield. You had a helmet. That was it. That was it.
Just the lid, baby.
Yep.
Just the lid.
That's cool. That's cool.
I love it. So what got you into like the Mustangs and where you're at now with what you're doing?
Well, I mean, Mustangs, they moved here, gosh, probably 14 years ago.
From where?
Bakersfield.
Okay.
Oh, Cali, yeah.
So, you know, David and Lori Miller brought them here. And at that time, I was running the youth hockey in Ogden. I was the president of Golden Spike at that time. And, you know, the youth hockey played under the junior Wildcats. So I worked with Lori early on in the early days, and we made that transition from, you know, I approached her with that.
I honestly forgot about all the Golden Spike stuff.
No, well, I didn't because I played for him. So with that being said, trying to do the math here, like, I wonder if you were president when I had played. Because I played for the junior Wildcats as well. I mean, I played
I'm
Utah
really
Stars.
Old is what you're saying. Huh?
I'm just saying.
You're saying I'm an old
I'm
bastard?
really old as well now. That's what, that's what I'm like. Let's calculate this for a minute. How many fingers do you have, Cole? No, just teasing. Just teasing. But it's one of those things where it's like, I mean, I could have met you a long time ago.
Yeah.
I mean, now that I sneezed so hard it fell through my chin, just like I said last time. You know, I mean, I could have known you. I mean, it's just one of those things that. I don't know. But I mean, I played for the Wildcats for a long time. I played for the Utah Stars. Like, I mean, I didn't know that you had been involved in that, and that's good to know. I love that. I love hearing that.
Well, so when did Ogden Mustangs start? What year?
Gosh, what was it? 2000. I should know this. 2012. So we're at our.
It was because it was just
14th?
after. Yeah. No, so I wouldn't have known you for sure because I graduated in 09.
Yeah, so well, Petey was you mentioned Craig Peterson.
Yeah,
he was our
goalie.
he was
Shout
our
out,
goalie
Petey.
coach.
Awesome.
So I used to coach, you know, the little kids. That's basically when I moved here, hockey really wasn't big.
Yeah.
There wasn't a lot here. And that was one of the things, you know, we had a young son. He was born 20 years ago. We moved here about 20 years ago. And, you know, I wasn't looking at coaching.
You were disappointed in it. You're like,
Yeah. No, I know. It was a different
well, I'm
time
going to start
back then.
something.
Yeah. I quickly got pulled in. And
it was a different time back then for sure. And that's what I keep trying to kind of transition over through all this of what we're doing and now having an NHL team, but like not to go into that, but hockey was so different back then.
Oh, it was, I mean, everything was
done
skiing.
a complete 360.
Well, and it started with somewhere and it started with someone.
Right.
Yeah.
And probably multiple someones, but you're one of those. In my mind.
No,
right?
absolutely.
Well,
for sure.
I mean, that was, I mean, go back to Ogden, Golden Spike back then, and there was basically one team, maybe two teams at each age level, you know, so you had a house team and a travel team. That was it.
And I mean, and it was pretty good hockey at travel level.
Yeah.
I mean, there was a point in time when at the Junior Wildcats as well that we were ranked like 11th in the nation.
Yeah.
For AA. I mean, that was incredible. I mean, it's just, but I mean, it took a lot of work. But I mean, before we get too off track, I'm just going to say one thing and then I'm going to shut up. Shout out Doug. He's like the Hans of Mighty Ducks.
I'll bet you a
Doug,
buffalo
I'm
nickel
gonna
you
make
don't
sure-
shut up.
I'm not going to shut up. Doug, I love you. And you are the Hans of Mighty Ducks. He's like my second father. He's the ice rink godfather. And I know you know Doug, and just what a stud. But I'm just going to leave it at that, but go ahead.
I got to say something about Doug because I know every morning getting up, taking that team, going out, coaching these teams at 5:30 in the morning, he was there.
Yeah.
Oh, yeah.
And he let us on the ice early every time. Hopefully they don't get in trouble for that. It was 20 years ago, but
Doug does what he wants.
That's the best time to
owns that
bring
great.
something up is
Doug
years later.
Yeah.
You can't get mad at me now.
Yeah. He's the godfather of ice, dude. He,
statute of limits, right?
nobody will ever touch my skates, and I'll pull his ass out of retirement to sharpen my skates. I promise you that. There's no two ways about it.
There's no two ways about it. We're gonna get merch that says that because Destin. There's no two ways about it. Destin can't not say it.
No,
but shout out to like what you've built because I mean my two nephews play for the Junior Mustangs. And how far it's come, just, you know, watching them grow up and playing the youth community, Junior Mustangs leagues and whatnot. It's huge. It's massive.
Such a good organization,
Yeah,
though.
it's
It
a
really
great
is.
organization.
I mean, a lot of involvement. I mean, there really is.
Well, it goes back to the Miller family. You know, that was, you know, when I approached her, you know, she was all about it. She loved it. She actually sponsored jerseys, paid for the jerseys for the team. And this is the previous owner of the Mustangs. And, you know, if without Dave and Lori Miller, and I don't know if you guys were aware, but Dave passed away.
Shout out, Dave.
Back in August. And we just had our huge opening ceremony. You know, last year was our first year in the NCDC. And I dedicated last year to Dave and Lori Miller. You know, not only did we win the Mountain Division Championship, as you can see from the hats,
Of course, that's awesome.
but you know, we also were Organization of the Year, and our fans were rated Fans of the Year.
Yeah.
You know,
And those games they get
Intense.
They get wild, man.
They're
awesome.
It's loud.
I mean, and to everybody watching, if you can't afford an NHL game or even a Grizzlies game, or if you just need something to do on a weekend and you're close by, right, in Ogden, go to a Mustangs game. Oh my gosh, the energy is incredible at these Mustangs games, and I will shout that out to all the NCDC teams in Utah. Right?
I mean, build the juniors. I mean, they're like 16 to 20 years old. They deserve that hype. Mm-hmm. They deserve every credibility that they've worked for because they're freaking studs. I mean, it's incredible the amount of work they put in. And
these kids are. I mean, they're chasing their dream. I mean, I remember when I went through it back in the mid '80s. You know, I was up in Canada playing. I ended up going back to the USHL, playing with the Des Moines Buccaneers, and you know, you're chasing your dream. I mean,
absolutely.
That was growing up in Minnesota. That was it. You know, your number one dream was to play for the North Stars. And they stole that team from us, you know, moved them down to Texas. That's the only team I don't like right now.
I mean, I love the old school stuff too, like the North Stars, like Quebec that got taken
Nordiques.
from the Nordiques, yeah.
You know,
I mean, all that retro is cool. Like,
you know, Minnesota, those were your two goals when you were a kid. North Stars and then the Gophers. Those were the two things, Minnesota Gophers. You know, that was the premier place. Now there's like,
it's just
5 or 6 D1 teams. And, you know, I got back to go play college back in Minnesota. I played with Minnesota State back there. And, you know, but that was as a 8-year-old kid, that's all you dreamed about.
Yeah. So what's your main goal with like, well, I want to hear the transition from going from where you were to down at the NCDC, because the NCDC is actually it's more of a push toward more of like more D1 college look, like scouting,
like, you know, the junior hockey landscape, you have your tier 1. So that's your CHL. You got the Western Hockey League teams, the Ontario Hockey League, and the Quebec Major Hockey League there. And then you also have the USHL. Those are all considered tier one teams. And then underneath that, you have your tier 2 teams. That's where your NCDC, your North American Hockey League. You got the BCHL and the Alberta Junior Hockey League. BCHL is the British Columbia teams there.
Okay. And now you're categorized with that now.
Yeah, so we moved up. So we were at the tier 3 level.
So how did that come about?
The program's growing.
Everything's just growth.
The program's growing, and when I purchased the team, that was my goal. I wanted to, within 3 years, I wanted to take it to the tier 2 level. It's a different dynamic. At tier 3, players actually pay a tuition. They help offset the cost. It ranges between $8,000-$10,000 depending on the team and the player.
And again, I know we've said this before, and for everybody else that's continuously watching, please bill it. Be billet families.
Yep.
That's important.
And what is the need right now for the Ogden Mustangs?
I mean,
for billeting.
We have billet families. We always need more. You can never have enough. Yeah. That's the lifeblood for these kids. Yeah. I mean, like you said, 16 to 20-year-olds. Yeah. They come here and you're their family. I keep in touch with my billet families from. What is that? From 87?
Yeah.
It's a long time ago.
Yep. And like, again, excuse me, no family like hockey family. Like, once you engage in that, you're going to understand, like, help anybody where help is due on that. Like, it's important. Yeah. It really is.
Yeah, and it's helping these kids. I mean, that's it. I mean, this wouldn't work without the billet families. Right. And it's
you're giving them an opportunity that could lend them endless amounts of possibility, depending on, and I mean, it's not like anything college wise. I mean, you're there and providing, like, definitely consider something with that for sure.
Well,
it's important.
I mean, you look at like some of the past players, we got hundreds of players that went on to play, college hockey.
Oh, absolutely.
There's dozens and dozens of players playing pro hockey right now. Spotniak is one that wasn't that long ago. He was putting goals in up the.
I was going to say anybody in particular. Like,
he's probably the number one star that came out of the Mustangs, and he's a beast.
Yeah, he's one of the top players,
leading goal scorers and assists and everything. Like, he's a beast. Yeah,
and he went on to play at the American International, and then he was played in the Indy Fuel. And last I heard, he was looking at an AHL deal.
Good.
This year, which is it's a huge step. He just graduated I think it was 2 years ago.
Didn't you have a goalie come out that his dad played in the NHL, but he ended up going up to Canada to get scouted?
Bryzagov, which I talked with multiple GMs and scouts within the NHL. He was borderline on getting drafted. So last year he was 17.
Nice.
Turned 18, so it was his draft year. And
that's open opportunity right there. Well. I mean, that's right there with it.
If it was the old days where there was more than 7 rounds in the NHL draft, he would have been drafted. He was just right there.
And don't give up on that either if you're watching, buddy.
No.
Like, get that.
Keep going.
Get that. Anything that comes out of Utah is incredible. I mean, it'll happen more and more now with what we have established.
I mean, whether it's AHL, NHL, like what?
Don't give up.
Yeah.
Don't give up.
I mean, just making it to the AHL or even ECHL is awesome, right?
Sure.
Oh yeah,
without a doubt.
It's all good hockey, and
agreed.
Yeah, it's an amazing sport.
Yeah, I mean, it carries over to everyday life. Yeah. Even if you don't make it somewhere, like, you leave with a signature, right? Like, carry yourself the way you'd want to be.
Carried. Oh yeah,
like
yep.
So
with youth hockey, so my nephew just got back from Vegas. They went 5-0. They're junior Mustangs.
Yeah.
They won 5-0 championship. Came down to a shootout. Won the game, right? So huge shout out to the junior youth Ogden Mustangs community and teams and whatnot because it's awesome. It's awesome to see.
They've always been solid.
Yeah, and they always have been.
And Bo Bertnolli's done a lot with that.
Yeah.
I mean, congratulations on his.
He came over a few years ago.
And I grew up just a little bit underneath him playing.
Yeah.
His dad was our coach, John. So shout out John again.
And so
he was always an ass, but at the same time, it's one of those things that you got to, as you get older, you respectfully say thank you. So
my question is, with the youth hockey and obviously the NHL being here, everything is going to grow, right? So how are you going to capitalize on this growth with the Ogden Mustangs and coaching and building youth and et cetera, et cetera? Have you thought about that? Do you have any plans moving forward with knowing that this community is just about to explode?
Yeah, no, I mean, I think it's a great opportunity for everyone, and the biggest one is to what you just said. These young kids coming up. I mean, you look at what happened in Vegas over the last 6 years. I mean, they probably 10-fold,
5,000 plus.
Yeah.
Oh, without no.
They had 1,000, and then they're up to like 6,000,
probably more.
7,000.
Dude. I mean, it's
huge.
And that's one of the things I know with ours. Our players go work with the youth. They go to practices, skate with them, and and that's what it's all about.
That's cool.
Getting out there.
Well,
and those kids look up to them.
Well,
absolutely.
So how do you think that's going to even affect the organization, though? Like, is it going to affect the organization? Are they going to just change it like they did to one team name of Utah Hockey Club, like Vegas kind of has? Or is it more of a county-based driven, like?
Well, I think you're going to have you'll have your spillover. Because even you look at Vegas, I don't know all the different organizations they have down there, but I know you got the Storm, you got the Junior Knights, and there's like 2 or 3 different organizations. I think that'll stay the same. I think the biggest thing is the opportunity for more kids to get involved. Mm-hmm. They see that have NHL players here, and as they progress through the life cycle and. We moved here and we never see ourselves leaving. And I guarantee you're going to see a lot of NHL players that are going to love it here.
Yeah.
Oh,
for
You know,
sure.
it's
You guys playing one of the best rinks in Utah. Like
Yeah.
it's just it's,
no,
it's
for
beautiful.
sure.
Yeah.
I mean,
The windows, the natural
Yeah.
light just coming through. It's just I love that rink.
yeah,
I love
for
that
sure.
rink.
I mean, especially going Olympic style with just.
Yeah.
I mean, it's beautiful.
Yeah.
And trust me, I've grown up playing there as well, and it's just unmatched. I mean, it really is.
And you look at, you know, how it'll affect us really is just the more education, the more people get out there and get familiar with hockey.
Yeah.
You know, our arena holds 2,000, you know, and we, you know, just our opening night, we had about
Packed house anyway.
1,600,
yeah.
you know, fans there. And
Did you take your dog?
The difference, the dog didn't make it just because there was so much going on.
Yeah. She's
know.
a sweetie though.
Oh yeah. Yeah. And you can always follow her on TikTok.
Oh yeah.
She has her own TikTok channel. She has jerseys.
Shout it out. Shout it out. Shout it out.
What's the plug? What's the plug?
Shout it
Gosh, I
out.
don't even know if I know her handle on
We'll
TikTok.
figure it out. We'll figure it out. She's
Rogie,
such a bitch.
it's Rogie the Rottweiler, I believe. That's what we got on there. Rogie
Every
the
time I'm like,
Rottweiler.
why don't I bring mine and just let my boy hang out with her? You know, because I've got that Rottweiler.
We
Husky
should.
and
We should do it. We should do a dog podcast.
I know, just us three with dogs.
When I don't bring her to the game, I get in trouble. I get yelled at.
I was
get
wondering where
cussed
she
at,
was.
And, it's bad.
She's a sweetie.
It's bad. In fact, we lost our home opener, even though we blew a 3-goal lead
Oh, really?
on a penalty that PD called.
Shout out PD again, bud.
No, it was a legitimate call. I have no complaints. No complaints whatsoever on that.
I'm gonna talk schmutz because I can. So. Way to
But he
go,
got
Pete.
a 5-minute major with 6 minutes left. We gave up 3 goals.
Oh no!
Way to control the game, bud. Just
What was the
teasing,
penalty?
dude.
Good call. It was
love you,
head contact. And the guy cross-checked him twice behind the play.
Yeah.
You know,
can't
it's
do
just
that.
one of those. He
Those
just
hockey
lost
things.
composures. You know,
Well,
he
we've
lost
got
composure.
Petey coming on soon too, so it's like. I'm
Oh,
gonna
there you go.
talk some schmutz,
There you
too.
go. Oh, Craig's great. I
He
love
is,
Craig.
and he really is. I'm not gonna lie. I mean, and like I said, I grew up. He was our goalie when we played and stuff,
Yeah.
and get it right, dude. Just teasing. I'm just teasing.
Yeah, but
For once.
Yeah, one of the best thing that'll come out of this though is as people do.
He's fair though. I
learn
mean, if
the
you
game.
see it, you got to be
Yeah.
confident with what you're doing.
Oh,
right?
yeah.
Like you got to stay confident with what you're doing. No matter what. So.
But as fans, become hockey fans, and then they start to realize, you look at 2,000 people packed in our barn, and you're right on the ice. It is so loud. It is the loudest
I love it.
place. I mean, you can't even imagine. And the atmosphere is
It's so
insane.
fun.
Yep.
In there. I mean, it's I had a good friend of mine. We do an Autism Night. He came up, and he actually owns the Tri-City Americans in the Western Hockey League.
Okay.
And they got like 8,000 people. We sold out for that game, our game at 2,000, and he couldn't believe it. He said it was the loudest thing in the world, and he was a goalie.
He was very impressed.
Oh yeah, he was really impressed. But the thing that he couldn't believe is when we score on the other team, the lights go out. Spotlight goes on the other team's
on
goalie.
the goalie. Yeah.
His first thing is, you got to be kidding me.
Yeah.
And the spotlight follows, so the goalie
just
leaves the
goes
crease,
right to it, yeah.
and the spotlight follows the goalie,
Yeah.
and he can't get away from the light. He was like, that is the most brutal thing I've ever seen.
Dude,
I was like,
I love that.
It's harsh.
And,
It is.
dude,
Hey.
to talk about like building tradition and stuff like that, I hope that the Utah Hockey Club can figure out some fun traditions, because that's original. That's original. That's Ogden Mustangs original.
oh,
bro.
that was, yeah.
That's just granted. That's just savage. First
Yeah.
and
Oh
foremost.
God, I love it.
And I do love it. And
shout out
really,
because you brought the
I was just
jersey.
gonna say I want to touch. I was gonna say that was my whole thought that I was holding. I want to touch on the autism thing and shout out for that. Huge shout out to that, and keep that going. And if there's anything we can help with, please let us know.
Yeah.
Well, that's
I would love to do anything we can to
And
help.
we'd love to, if you have any reps that would
or
want to
anything,
come on.
yeah,
or
that we
whatever,
can do
we'll
whatever
talk to
we
them.
can for
Yeah.
exposure for that.
well,
move
after
forward, 'cause
as we get closer, and I'll definitely reach out to Kolzig. I think he'd be a great guest. He played 17 years in the NHL, Vienza Trophy winner.
Love to talk to
King
that guy.
Clancy, went to the Stanley Cup. He won a Stanley Cup with as a coach.
Who is it?
Ole Kolzig.
Oh, okay.
Ole the goalie.
I
How
thought
do
he
you
said.
not know who
I
Kolzig is?
I thought he
well,
said
he doesn't know
I thought
hockey,
he,
so
I thought he said Kolsar. I was like,
It's not Andre Kopitar, bro. It's Oli Kolzig.
Just think of Oli the
K-O-L.
Oli the goalie.
Oli the goalie.
Or another one is
He thinks I
Kolzilla.
don't know hockey.
He knows enough, but I can spell it for you. Kolzig. Kolzig.
Thank you.
But that whole autism is, they're close family friends. In fact, Kristen, his wife, took our son's baby pictures.
Cool.
And that autism, it struck their family.
Of course.
While he was playing with the Capitals, and there wasn't much about it. People don't aware about it, and the awareness still isn't there. And that was one of the things I brought in. And imitation is the first form of flattery, and I appreciate it. Is because all the teams, the Outliers now do a autism awareness night, and Pueblo does an autism awareness night, and it means a lot because it's the more awareness we can bring to them.
And if you're not around it, you're not too familiar with it. And that can stem from, obviously, there's different forms of autism, right? Where you could be low functioning and you can be very high functioning, but there's also the high functioning that you wouldn't be aware of as well. And so, like you're saying with that awareness, that's a huge thing.
Yeah.
And
So
that needs to be like a more, spoken, brought up issue, or not issue, topic to address, to make sure that you can get the appropriate assess
early intervention.
Anything. Yes, exactly.
It's amazing what the earlier it's diagnosed, the earlier it's there. There's been so much advancements and progress with it.
And I've always been one to say it's okay to not be okay, and sometimes people don't realize that, and then there's nothing wrong with that, right? Like, it's just moving forward,
and especially let's just shout out men's mental health, right?
Because that too,
men's mental health is important, and not to say that everybody else's mental health isn't important, but the image that men want to put on is that we're always okay,
like a facade of
whatever. We're strong, we're men. Like,
no, and
it's okay to not be okay, like you said.
No, for sure.
So it's interesting. So there's a dating show on Netflix, Love on a Spectrum, that me and my wife watch, and it's actually, most of them are autistic people trying to date and whatnot. And it blew my mind. It blew my mind. I fell in love with every character on there.
Well, and a lot of the time. Well, so from experience, like they fixate, like they just have a fixation, or there's something that and that's fine. But like, it's just,
well, through that I learned that one of my nephews is on the spectrum,
and that's so
and I feel like I understand a little bit more about it. And shout out to that. Shout out to trying to bring it more to light.
No, for sure, without a doubt. And then that's the thing, is like it's something that shouldn't be overlooked.
Yeah,
I mean, it's. And there's ways to go about it, and let's take care of that.
So, Sean, we are running out of time here. Wouldn't you believe that? It's like a time capsule in here. You put headphones on, really, it's like, whoa.
I know.
It's already
I'm over
over.
Here like, what?
So let's hear any last shout outs, any last plugs, any other things that you want to talk about. Ogden Mustangs, youth, whatever.
Yeah, I mean, looking at it, coming down and getting a feel for the game, coming out there. $12 a ticket to come out and watch the Ogden Mustangs. Right on Weber State campus there. We have 3 great special event nights through this year. Obviously, we talked about autism awareness. We also have breast cancer awareness.
Cool.
And then, being so close to the base, we got military appreciation night. And we do one of these specialty jerseys.
Your website, Ogden Mustangs?
OgdenMustangs.com.
Cool.
Website for tickets, and pick your seat, and it's $12 unless you want to go to the VIP section, and it's a little bit more.
It's a great time.
They're fun. I mean, they do sell beer. Not going to try to underlie that.
Go get a beer. Go get a beer.
Yeah, have a good
Hang out. Have fun.
Meet Sean and his beautiful dog as well.
Absolutely. Rogie will be there. Rogie the Rottweiler, and she has a service dog, so
she's a sweetheart.
She runs around next to me, and she has a different jersey on. She has like 4 or 5 different jerseys.
Very cool.
Awesome.
All right. Well, this has been the Puck Drop Podcast. Thanks for tuning in. And actually, we have some pretty big news. This episode drops on October 8th. Wouldn't you know?
For tuning in.
The very first Utah Hockey Club game is tonight. This episode drops tonight. We have the awesome Ogden
Sean
Mustangs
Wilmert.
owner. Shout out to that. On your way to the Utah Hockey Club game, put it on. Put this game. Put our podcast on. Make sure you're driving responsibly, but check out this podcast on your way to the game.
And make sure you're attending these games. Youth deserves more too as well. So
absolutely.
And if you got kids that want to play hockey, Junior Ogden Mustangs is an awesome organization up north. So make sure you check them out at ogdenmustangs.com. As simple as that. Thanks for joining. We'll see you next time.